Tonight, Brock Lesnar returned to WWE, and while some fans may cheer the return of the Beast, others, myself included, are deeply unsettled. This isn't just about a wrestling comeback, it's about the message it sends, the allegations surrounding his return, and how WWE continues to blur the line between business and morality. Cody Rhodes said on the WWE SummerSlam post-show that us, the fans, control the show. We have always controlled the show. I want you all to know that I understand there are tons of opinions on this subject, and I respect your opinion, which you are entitled to. I'm also entitled to my own opinion, and this is me sharing it. And to address this, no, I do not believe that John Cena was the one who requested Brock Lesnar, as Triple H suggested on the post-show. That sounds like a complete PR move to shift blame onto someone who famously refrains from controversy. And I think it's incredibly cowardly for WWE to also cancel their post-show press conferences, obviously, to avoid the media pouncing on this story. Truly would be nice for WWE to take some accountability here and own the decision if they're going to make it, but we all know that's not necessarily their strong suit. And as of the date of this video, August 5th, 2025, Janelle Grant's legal team has issued a response to the return of Lesnar. It reads, "For far too long, abuse was allowed to thrive under WWE's leadership. Instead of righting this wrong, WWE has done nothing to ensure those responsible are held accountable. This attempt to sweep misconduct under the rug will backfire. We look forward to the full set of facts, including those about Mr. Lesnar, coming out in a court of law where they belong, but in the meantime, we refer you back to Janelle Grant's updated complaint, which outlines in detail the abuse she endured by McMahon and others while employed at WWE." I'd also like to offer a warning that the following information may be hard to hear, and I'll be censoring some of the words as well. I'd also like to note here that everything is alleged. In January 2024, former WWE employee Janelle Grant filed a federal lawsuit against Vince McMahon, WWE, and others. She accused McMahon of coercing her into intimate relations, trafficking her, and using her as a tool in business negotiations. Initially, the suit referred to an unnamed former UFC heavyweight champion and WWE superstar, but in January 2025, an amended version of the lawsuit officially named Brock Lesnar. According to the filing, McMahon sent Lesnar explicit images of Grant without her consent. Once Lesnar received the messages, he said he liked what he saw and called her a B. McMahon provided Lesnar her contact information. He arranged a dinner where Grant was expected to engage in an intimate encounter with Lesnar as part of the contract renewal process. Lesnar attended the dinner, allegedly became heavily intoxicated, and left without engaging intimately. However, the lawsuit says Lesnar later requested more explicit content. Once Lesnar signed his new deal, McMahon said that part of the deal was having relations with Grant. Lesnar had scheduled a meetup with Grant, but his travel was canceled due to a snowstorm. Again, Lesnar is not a defendant in this lawsuit, but the facts laid out point to him as a beneficiary of the trafficking scheme. After these details became public, WWE seemed to respond quietly. Lesnar was completely removed from the Royal Rumble 2024 match card, resulting in Gunther taking the beats of what was supposed to be Brock's spot. He was scrubbed from the WWE 2K24 video game. Lesnar was not a playable character, and in the showcase mode, while his model appears in the match, they never call him Brock Lesnar. He was also subsequently erased from TV intros and promotional packages. At the time, it looked like WWE and TKO Holdings were taking the allegations seriously, even if they refused to say so out loud. They were taking it so seriously that they decided to completely cut ties and erase all association with Lesnar, even though he was such an integral part of the company's history. It's as though they were giving him a soft Chris Benoit-like treatment. So it's not just the Mark side saying that Brock Lesnar did something horrible enough to warrant blacklisting from the company. Even at one point, WWE believed he did. But now, by bringing Lesnar back with no explanation, they reverse course without warning or accountability. And here's why this return matters, and why it's bad for WWE and wrestling as a whole. It sends a message that power trumps principle. That even when your name appears in a lawsuit involving trafficking, you're still welcome back if you can draw a crowd. Obviously, this sends a poor message and I think threatens the safety of the locker room. It undercuts every public statement WWE has made about being a new era post Vince McMahon. Are we really in a new era if we're going to bring back a wrestler absolutely nobody asked for, who is so deep in ethical trouble that even the company sought to erase him from their history? It simply creates a culture where survivors, fans, and employees are reminded that their safety and dignity are secondary to ratings and revenue. It's truly not a good look. Wrestling deserves better. The people in the locker room deserve better. And frankly, so do the fans. However, I was really curious to see if this could actually amount to criminal repercussions, so I consulted a lawyer friend of mine to break this down, and here's what they told me. Keep in mind, this is all not legal advice, and I simply asked his professional opinion. This is what he said. I would say he engaged in bad behavior, but did not necessarily engage in criminal activity. It would hinge on whether he knew the photos were shared without her consent or not, and he asked for more. So if he knew they were shared without her consent and knew of a trafficking ring, he could be criminally liable. But if he didn't know, then it doesn't really matter. Also, this is a civil suit which has a preponderance standard, greater than 50% probability, which is a lot different than a beyond a reasonable doubt standard, so I'd cautiously give him the benefit of the doubt. So yes, there's some legal gray area here, but let's be honest. He received explicit images of a woman from his boss. He asked for more. He attended a dinner that was allegedly arranged for a coerced intimate encounter, and he signed a new WWE deal shortly after, benefiting from what was, according to the suit, a trafficking operation. Even if you want to give him the legal benefit of the doubt, that doesn't make it okay, that doesn't make it right, that doesn't make it ethical. And it definitely doesn't make him someone you bring back without so much as a word of explanation. But the most common take I've seen online regarding this is, show me where in the lawsuit Brock Lesnar is accused of doing something criminal. If he didn't break the law, who cares? Here's why that argument completely misses the point. First, legal does not mean ethical. There's a long list of things that aren't illegal but are still deeply wrong. Cheating on your spouse, bullying someone at work, exploiting power dynamics in a workplace, all of those things can destroy lives, relationships, and reputations. And none of them require a courtroom to be considered harmful. Secondly, this isn't a trial. This is about trust. WWE is a private company. It doesn't need a judge to decide who gets to be a role model, a featured star, or the face of its brand. If someone is even credibly named in a lawsuit involving trafficking, even if they're not charged, that alone should raise red flags about whether they belong back in the spotlight. But lastly, the bar we set here should not be, is he a criminal? Like, think about what's being defended here. Lesnar allegedly received explicit images of a woman sent without her full consent. He asked for more. He attended a dinner that, according to a lawsuit, was meant to lead to a coerced intimate encounter. He even allegedly arranged another meeting that was canceled due to a snowstorm. Even if he didn't physically assault anyone, he still benefited from a system where women were allegedly being trafficked as leverage in contract negotiations. So no, he may not be on trial, but he's not above scrutiny. This isn't about proving beyond a reasonable doubt. It's about the kind of culture we accept in wrestling. And if our only standard was, well, it wasn't illegal, then we're basically saying that anything short of a felony is fair game. And that's just not an ethical business practice. WWE had a choice. They could have stood by their supposed new era of integrity. They could have listened to the survivors, to the fans, to the people in their own company. Instead, they brought back Brock Lesnar silently, as if nothing happened. This wasn't just a return, it was a decision. A loud, public, deliberate decision. I just feel like it's time that we all think about what we should be accepting in professional wrestling. Do we want WWE to be known as the company that employs people like this? Do we want our industry and sport that we love so much to have this kind of reputation? Is the bar for being such a superstar just that you can't have committed a violent felony? Again, I want to respect all opinions here. I know there are people who are really excited that Brock is back. He's a big part of wrestling history. These are just some things to think about moving forward. I hope you enjoyed SummerSlam weekend, and I thank you for tuning in. I have a lot of exciting content on the way, and if you'd like to see it, I'd really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. I'm looking forward to bringing y'all some awesome stuff here soon. Thanks again for watching. Peace.